Hello everybody, I'm Buck WSR Weezer, putting the do into do-it-yourself. It's been a while since we did a lawnmower project, and figured maybe it's about time. It's February, so it's not like this one's going to be needed for another couple of months, at least not where I live in New Jersey. Belongs to a neighbor. He asked me to look it over and to get it running. So I know nothing about it, but it sure looks nice. Looks relatively new. Craftsman Eager-1 22-inch cutter, 5 horsepower gas engine, and I know nothing about it. But you know what? Before I even attempt to start it, I went ahead and I checked the oil, which looks fine and actually looks relatively clean. There's no gas in the tank, at least none that I can see. And before I attempt to even start it, I am going to drop the bowl on the carburetor and make sure it's clean in there. One of the biggest problems with mowers that don't start up after storage is that the carburetor gets gunked up or clogged up with the ethanol enriched fuel. So I'm just going to start there and see where that leads us. And I've got a 1/2 inch, that's not the right size. So many times on a mower that hasn't run in a while or has sat over the winter, the carburetor bowl gets clogged up. Right, so what size am I looking for here? Is it 7/16? There we go, 7/16 nut. Because if it is clogged up, I don't want to go and start running it. Don't want to add fuel. Alright, so we got some old fuel leaking out. Got the rag here. Still can't quite get it off by hand yet. Alright, can already tell it's not going to be pretty. Sure if you can see that. Kind of you see this? It looks kind of nasty. Let's take the bowl down. Oh boy. Yes, my suspicions are confirmed. Take a look inside there. That is nastiness. So we're going to clean this out. Clean out this carburetor area. Try to shoot some carburetor cleaner up the main jet here. And I wonder if it might be worthwhile just to go ahead and remove the carburetor completely. Clean it out. Slap it back on. And I'm going to say at that point we probably will be good to go. So let's get right to that. Don't want to lose these items. This is our air cleaner that pulls off easily enough. There's 2 bolts that connect the carburetor to the intake, and might be a little hard to get to. But we'll take it a step at a time. Let me back you up a bit. And you get to see what we're going to do here. Alright. I'm going to try to take a shroud off so I get more easy access to it, and then the throttle control on top of the carburetor. It shouldn't be too much work to do that. First, these couple of bolts on top of the gas tank. Sometimes these carburetors get clogged up like that because of sitting with old gas in them. And you can clean them out, as we're going to attempt to do. Or it's easy enough to just go online, eBay or whatever, and buy an aftermarket replacement carburetor, 10, 15 bucks, and slap on a new one, and off you go. Got to take the dipstick out. And then, let's see, what else is this connected on there? It pops off. Just going to lean it back. Hose is still connected. Let me just take the shroud off. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. One's in the back, look like 3/8. One's in the front here, might be 5/16. These are 3/8 back here. We got a nice warm day, even though it's February. Probably 55 or 60 degrees out. Feels more like spring. That's okay. I'll take it. Yep, that's not it. Dipstick bolts to the side of the shroud. Looks like a 5/16 over there. Nope. He came out completely. Alright. Well, these guys. Strange. We're 5/16, but it's not grabbing. Let me try my 8mm. Alright, shroud comes off. Starter recoil goes with it. Alright, we're good to go. Now we have a little better access to the carburetor and the throttle controls. So, yeah. 5/16 or 8mm. Okay, and we can move him out of the way, and this guy's tight, so he's kind of, yeah, he needs a good cleaning. That's really tight. All right, so we got to take these off. They look like 7/16 on the one side and 3/8 on the other. Might need an open end wrench for this side. We'll see what we can do here. All right. All right. 7/16 is correct. Making a mess with that oil. Hold on. The oil was actually filled a little too high. Now that I pulled that dipstick tube out of there, it's leaking a little. Less room to swing a wrench back here. But it can be done if you're patient. Okay, and that should be enough to break it loose. Now you've got this throttle arm here connected to the governor, so you want to pay attention to which hole it goes into, and remember that, because there's usually several holes drilled into this plate. All right, it comes off. Remove that. Here's our carburetor, still connected to the gas tank. But you can see in there that's pretty nasty, pretty dirty. So cleaning this out is exactly what we're gonna need to do. Gonna get my needle nose pliers to remove that hose clamp. These should work. Yep, clamp broke. No big deal. I have bunches of them. All right, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to transition over to the workbench and we'll take this apart and clean it out a little bit. Okay, this is not rocket science. I'll unscrew this air cleaner connector, and then we'll just set about to cleaning this. Okay, set him aside. Got a gasket here. This is the this float held in by this pin. Let's see if I can get that to move. I can. Try to grab it. Float comes out along with the needle. Great. I'm going to take off this gasket and move it aside. Sometimes the carburetor cleaner that I'm going to use causes these to swell and they won't fit back onto the carburetor. So let's just move it out of the way and not let it get saturated by the carb cleaner. Now I've got a variety of tools for cleaning out the small orifices. This high-tech safety pin, set a little different sized brushes, and some other pokers, we'll call them. And I'm just going to use some carburetor cleaner. All right, just give that a second to sit. I'm going to go get that plug. Now this guy right here is one of the key components to be cleaned, because the way it works is the fuel is sucked in through those holes at the bottom and then up through the main jet. So we've got to clean this guy out really well. I'm going to spray this away from the camera. Sometimes something like an old toothbrush can be of help too. Yeah, see, these little holes get clogged up. The fuel has to flow through here. All the fuel that goes into your combustion chamber starts by being fed through here, and this thing gets clogged. That happens, fuel doesn't get sucked up into the carburetor, and nothing runs. So we are absolutely going to do this. And we also got to make sure it's clean through here. So the combination of the cleaner, the brushes, the probes, the pokers, more cleaner, blowing some air through it, is what this is all about. So if I shoot this down from the top, I want it to be able to come out the bottom. Then I know that's good and clean. Try one of these brushes. They're small holes, small cavities. Even these brushes are kind of too big for what I need. Try one of these thin ones. So work around with this guy until he's good and clean, because that's the crucial item right here. This plug at the bottom of the carburetor. And of course this is at the bottom of the bowl, so that's where all the crud accumulates in this guy. I'm going to spray this out over here. Alright, that feels good. I think I've got that guy nice and clean. You probably can't tell it, but he's good. Alright. So now we're cleaning out the carburetor itself. I'm not that worried about it because that plug that we just cleaned out, that jet at the bottom, is the main thing. But there are some holes here. So I'm putting the safety pin through there. And you can see how this is discolored. So old fuel's been sitting down there. So this is a spring-loaded throttle, so it automatically closes. It was not doing that. It was stiff and stuck. Now it's operating as it should. All right, that's feeling pretty good. Okay, I'm going to set him aside. Let's clean the float. It's got some crud built up on it. Guess I should do this where you can see it at, huh? All right, I think all our pieces are good to go. Oop, except for this guy. Do not want to forget him. Try to get most of that crud off of the bottom of this, because otherwise it may break loose and clog the jets again. Don't know if I'm going to be able to get it all, but it's going to be a lot better. Just have a little more of that sitting there. All right, then I think we're going to be good to go. We'll get back together again and reinstall put the carburetor back together and install it on the lawnmower. Hey, you know, something else that's going on here. When I take this carburetor float and put it up to my ear and shake it, there's a little bit of noise in there, and I'm afraid that it has leaked and there's some fuel in there. And this is not going to work properly if it doesn't float. What are the odds that I happen to have another one in my pile of old parts? I have no idea if this one leaks or not, but this one seems to have liquid in it, so I don't want to use it, but I got the exact same one, which is amazing. So I'm going to install this new one. Not new, but used. So, we need the needle, which goes under this tab. Helps to have small fingers, I guess. Then place him down. There, and our pin goes through there like so. All right, now that's sitting up a little high. I don't know if you can tell that. It should be level with the edge of the carburetor. It's a little high. You might be able to adjust that by bending that metal tab on the float. So let me try that. I think that's a little better. Not perfectly level with the bottom, but close. All right, a little more cleaning on this guy. Wipe him out. And then we'll be ready for the reinstall. Okay, well, we're running out of daylight, but I've got it back together. Didn't film that process. It's just the reverse of, removal. So just reverse the steps that we already took. Gonna add some fuel now. because it's still really winter time and a while till grass cutting season, I'm going to add some fuel stabilizer. So as to hopefully prevent some of that gumming up of the carburetor that we just tried to clean out. Alright, that should be enough to get us going. And we'll give it a shot. Now, because what I'm gonna do is give us a little head start, because I can. I haven't put the air cleaner back on. Got its prime feature. But I'm also just gonna shoot some starting fluid directly into it. See if that gives us an advantage. All right, let's see what we got. All right, that was something. That makes me wonder if we're getting fuel from the tank or if it was just running on our let's turn this to full throttle, or if perhaps it was just running on our starting fluid. All right, so I feel like we're getting fuel for the startup, but it's not continuing to suck the fuel into the carburetor. Hey, I think we got it. Yeah, it hasn't run in a while, and I think it was, I was feeding it gas through the primer for a little bit there, but we finally got it going. It was running on its own. So I think our carburetor cleaning has been a success. If it continues to give me problems, I'll probably just go ahead and slap on a new one. They're easy enough to replace and inexpensive to buy. But I think we are back in business. I'm going to let it run a while more, and running some gas through there is only going to help. I want to thank you for joining me on this project. If you've got an old mower that doesn't want to start after storage, cleaning out some of that gunked up fuel from the bottom of the carburetor may get you back in business. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.